Hi Flosstube, it's McCleary, Texstylust. Welcome to my channel. Hi Flosstubies, welcome back to my channel. This is Lori, and this is a channel about cross stitch and quilting and various and sundry other needlework arts. And today we're going to do the WIP parade. So February has just screamed by in a flash. I don't know where all the time went. It seems like it just started and it's almost over. So I wanted to get on here and make sure that I got through the WIP parade. I haven't done a WIP parade in about 18 or so months, maybe a little bit longer. And so this is going to be really good for me to focus on, you know, what I'm going to be working on this coming year. Last year, I had some very specific goals. I met some of them. I didn't meet them all. And this year, I'm going back to my tried and true. I'm just going to stitch on what I want, and I'm going to work on what I want, because that actually seems to work really good for me. Aside from that part, though, I still definitely am going to stick to my 2 one red thread projects. One of them I'll probably wrap up in March, I suspect. We'll look at it here in just a minute. The other one will definitely take the entire year. And I'm going to continue working on my hexagon star a day. But aside from that, all bets are off. We're going to look at all my WIPs, and from there, I'm probably going to decide and pull from, you know, a few things that I might choose to focus on. I'm still going to also do, or try to attempt to do, a little bit of Christmas every day. And what that means for me is that I'm going to put in at least a length of thread, just like the one red thread. Of course, it doesn't matter what color, but I'm going to put in at least a length of thread, or the equivalency of a length of thread, into a Christmas project and see how far I can get. I'm starting to settle in on 2 or 3 that I started during a Vlogmas, and I did start one other one. I said I wasn't going to, but I did. It's one I really wanted to start, and I will show you that in the WIP parade as well. But before we get started in the WIP parade, let me show you what I've been stitching on. The first one is my personal one red thread, and for 2025, and again, I'm not going to try to pronounce the name, I just call it Hortense. So this is a chart by Quilting. Again, I can't pronounce that either, but you can see the information on the front there, and it's this beautiful little red sampler. It actually has 2 colors. It has a red and a pink, and I consider that all one. You know, it's the red color family. So I started this on the 1st of January, and I started it on a 40 count, and it really wasn't speaking to me. So I did set it aside, and I went and purchased a 46 count of the same fabric, which I'm doing this on 46 count Cedar River Albarium. And so I restarted it, and as I just said, I think I'm probably going to finish this about, I'd say sometime in March, maybe end of March. It's going pretty quickly. It's a beautiful little sampler. I am so tickled with it. It's going to be gorgeous, and that's going to go in the French demo room. Here is the information on the chart. And I'm doing this with some Averswa 103s, and these are, let's see if I can turn it around here so you can see the colors. And if you don't catch it on my video, you can see this information on my Instagram, but there are the colors. Let's see, let's cover my face here. I think you can see them. Maybe this is a better way to do it. There we go. So those are the two colors that I'm using, and it's turning out just lovely. I couldn't be more pleased with that one. So I've been working on that every day. And then my second one red thread is one that I am stitching for my youngest, my son. And it is a long dog, and I'm going to have to put my glasses on if I'm going to be doing a lot of reading here. I'm doing this on a 40 count cedar vintage. No, it's not a vintage. No, it is a vintage. Vintage cedar plank by Lakeside Linen, 40 count. And that is the chart. It's called the Templar Prophecy. And this one I'm doing 2 lengths of thread a day. And this is where I'm at on this. And I'm using a Silks for You in the color number PR067. And this is also coming along just beautifully. I love the color combination of the cedar plank and the burgundy color silk floss. So I don't know if you've stitched a long dog, or at least a long dog like this, or any chart that is. This is not full coverage, but it's pretty close. And it's got a lot of changes in it, and you cannot get off a single stitch, or the next motif is not going to be right. So I have had to go back and unstitch a few things. And when I do that, what I do is I uncheck one of my check marks in a box, so I know that I need to go make that up, or again, I can count how many threads it took to get this done. But again, I've had to unstitch a few times, but I do try to keep track of how much I'm unstitching and restitching. It got a little complicated right down here and a little complicated over here. So I think I'm back on track. I'm working on over here because this is pretty easy stitching. And then I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to save the rest of this for later. I'm going to start either moving over to the side or down the bottom because I'm finishing up a page. But it is also going fairly well, aside from a few little hiccups and a missed stitch or an extra stitch. Okay, the next couple that I'm going to show you are ones that I've worked on that count for my Christmas every day. It's not exactly Christmas every day. I've definitely missed a few days, but I'm doing pretty well. And so far I have 6 projects that I'm working on through the Christmas every day. I fully anticipate there will be more added. And the 2 that I worked on since I did the last video, I worked some more on the Gingerbread House sewing book. This is from Stacy Nash, and it was a release in the Jingle Ball. It was a class that she did. This is the front. This is the back. This is being stitched on wing beans, and here is what I have added. So I finished. I had a little bit more I needed to do over here, and I put in the fireplace and the stockings and the mantle, and I started for the door. So I did get a little bit more done on that. And the other one was the one I talked about that it's a new start. I started it, oh gosh, 4 or 5 days ago. And it's Peace and Goodwill by Brenda Gervais. I had picked this up at Acorns, and I had bought it and they didn't have it in stock, and they mailed it to me. So I finally got it, and I was searching high and low for the called for linen, which is Tobias, and nobody had it in stock, or at least nobody had it in stock in 36 count. I wanted to do this one in the called for 36 count. Now, Brenda has more than one of these, and they're all a very similar size, but one of them is a little bit bigger, and I'm going to do it on a 40 count. So I have the fall one, and then she came out with 2 more, or she's coming out with 2 more at market, one of which I know I'm going to buy. And I do want to be able to buy a single frame and kind of change them out. So my frame will probably be something that's going to work for the slight difference. It's a difference of like 5 to 7 or 10 stitches. So it's enough of a difference that I need to be cautious. But I think if I put it on a 40 count, it's only going to be a fraction, like a couple eighths of an inch difference between the sizes for the one that she's releasing, one of the ones that she's releasing at Nashville, and this one and the one that came out in fall. This one and the one that came out in fall are exactly the same stitch count. So I like I said, I looked high and low. I could not find Tobias, but a friend of mine, Linda, had already stitched this, and she pulled hers out. She did have Tobias, but she also pulled out several linens and held them up so that I could have an idea of what might be a really close match. And what I ended up using is, oh gosh, did I not write it down? Is it still on here? It's still on here. Okay, it's a Fiber on a Whim, and it's Hazelwood. And Hazelwood was almost an exact match. And I really do like the color. So I think this is going to work just great for the fall one and any of the others that come that are the same size. And then I'm not sure if I will get Hazelwood for the one that's a 40 count. I might, or I might choose something that now I can match it pretty closely to this, because I'd like to keep them in the same color family. Here is the floss ring for Peace and Goodwill. And it's beautiful flosses. I'm using all the called for, with the exception of color. Is it a DMC? Oh, and no, it's a Weeks. So Weeks light khaki I did not have, and I wanted to get this started. So I went and did a conversion, and I'm using a Victoria motto called Handspun. And it's, again, almost exactly the same. It has a beautiful modeling to it. And it looks a little ghosty here, but you can see it in real person. And I do like the color. So I'm really pleased with this. This is just a couple nights worth of stitching, maybe 5 or 6 lengths of floss. And it's going really quick. I just love it. This is a joy to stitch. You know, there's those certain stitches that everything you do is just, it goes easily. You're not stressed. The counting goes well. And this is one of them. So, oh, but I do have a question. So I've been watching other finishes of this stitch, and several people have changed the house. And I'm going to wait and see until I get there. I'm probably going to do the house last. And I think the house calls for whiskey. Is that it? Or no, it calls for heirloom gold. That's what it calls for. I think one person stitched it in wood rose, which would be beautiful. I'm kind of leaning towards stitching it with the cherry cobbler, which would make it very bright, but I'm not sure. And I saw someone else had actually used the teal color, which is deep fennel, and they stitched the house. If you have stitched this, can you please tag me on your Instagram post so I can see different versions of the house if you change the house color? Because I'm just really curious. Most of the houses in this series do seem to be the gold color, and I think it's beautiful. But I also thought the different changes that other people have made were beautiful as well. So I'm kind of torn. I'd really like to see what everybody else is doing. So if you can, and you've done it, can you go back, and if you've already posted it, can you tag me on that post? Or if you do post it in the future, can you tag me so I can see? Thank you. Okay, so the last thing that I was working on is one of my personal assignment stitches. I guess that's the best way to say that, is I'm doing a letter a month for Thanksgiving for the Prairie Schooler, which is from book 66, and I'm doing this one right here. I'm doing this on a 37 count corkscrew from Legacy Linen, and I finished my letter for the month, and I even started doing the outline for next month. So I'm good for February, and when we go into March, I'll be doing the letter, looks like the letter K. So I did get that done, so I'm feeling very accomplished again, that I'm more or less keeping up with all of my my assignments, whether they're daily assignments or monthly assignments. The one that I'm not keeping up as well on is my hexagon star day, but I'm really trying to get back into the groove. I kind of fell out of the habit when I was getting ready and doing Vlogmas and getting ready for my family to come, but I am trying to at least get one a day done going forward, but I do need to go back and catch up on some of those because I'd really like to complete this in the 365-day time frame. So I have some catching up to do, but here's several of the ones that I completed during the time that since we last chatted. You can see I have a definite color theme here. Sometimes I do a fussy cut, sometimes I don't. It just depends on the mood I'm in and how much time I feel I have to spend on it. Each one of these takes me about 20 minutes after they're cut. So if I already have them cut, it takes me about 20 minutes to sew. I do hand sew these. If you're interested in seeing how these go together, I have in my video playlist, I have tutorials, and one of those in there does show how I do the hexagon star. So I'm working on that, and I'm working on catching up. One of the friends that I'm stitching with, she's already actually completed them. She did some stitching ahead to fit her schedule. And then me and the other friend we're doing our best to catch up. In fact, one friend, Kimberly, she has already started piecing her stars together. So it's really fun. I'm looking forward to that. That's probably going to go into the rest of this year. So we started on Mother's Day last year. Mother's Day, of course, kind of fluctuate, but it'll be around Mother's Day when I should be finished with my stars. And I think that if I kind of do the same thing where you're joining 1 or 2 stars a day, it'll probably take another year to piece this, but that's okay because I'm in no rush to finish this. This is all about the process and the relaxation and the meditation that I get from putting these stars together. So I'm getting really close to filling up this container. I have this container filled up. These are some vintage planters that I have. I have another one. So I'm thinking that once the third one gets filled up, that's going to be really close to done. Okay, so that is what I've been working on. I do have a little bit of haul to share with you before we get into the WIP parade. So I'm going to put a few things away because something just fell on the floor, and I'll be right back. Okie dokie. So in the 2 or 3 weeks, 2 weeks since we've talked, I did get my monthly subscription of the AccuFactum Fabric Club, and I am doing that club through Widow Cottage Quilt Company. And here is again the information. I didn't have that with me last time. I don't know if the club is still open. It might be. You would have to go to the website and check, but this month's fabrics are so cute. Oh my gosh, they are just as precious as they can be. So this one has little ladybugs and little, is it mice? No, it's just a little girl. One in red and one in blue, and they're so darn cute. Look at this little ladybug on a swing off the flower. And then here's a coordinating fabric, many of the same motifs, but these look like little stamps, little postage stamps and cancellation marks like right here. Just adorable, just adorable. Also a coordinating fabric. This one would read as stripes. This time we've got little girls in yellow, and we've got more yellow flowers and some little red cap mushrooms. Those are so cute. And then this is the coordinating fabric, like the neutral without any special things. Again, beautiful. I love this. I'm really, really loving this, this club. It's just wonderful. Sean from Periwinkle Stitches, we had messaged back and forth. She had told me when I first started showing them that she didn't belong to the club, and I kind of teased her about it. And I said, what? you're the OG of Nikki Franklin, and Nikki Franklin coordinates and works with this company, Willow Cottage. And so I saw in her last video that she had joined the club and she had already used some of her fabric. I haven't been able to bring myself to cut into it, but she'd already used some of last month's fabric and she made a beautiful project bag. So again, check it out. They also have a ton of other project things, and you can buy fat quarters, you can buy yardage. They have a lot. This is just a selection that they pick out every month. Also, during the last couple of weeks, I had some patterns that I had ordered a while back come in. I got a couple from Pineberry Lane, and this is definitely from other people showing projects in their WIP parades. This one, again, just reminded me it was on my list of things that I really wanted. I did not get any Valentine stitching done this year, but I would really like to do it. I have a whole stack of Brenda Gervais past charts that are Valentines that I want to do that use like the candy boxes. I've been collecting the candy boxes. Unfortunately, some of the sizes that she has used, they don't make anymore because they don't make the wooden box, or not the wooden, the cardboard boxes anymore for like the smaller sizes. But I really want to do Valentine stitching next year. But this is a Pineberry Lane, and this is one that I just love and would really like to stitch. And then because I was already ordering some Pineberry Lane and I was looking through them, this is another one that has been on my list for quite a while. It's a Christmas one, and it is the Merry Christmas hanging sampler. I just love that. I like the lettering that she uses on these. They're not too dissimilar, even though they're different holidays. And then this is one, this is a needlework press that I have been wanting for quite a while. Ever since, I think it was, who was it showing? One of the gals from the Sable Stitchers. I think it was Roberta. Roberta had went to a country sampler retreat, I think a year or so ago, maybe a little bit longer. It might have been like the, what's the one they do in June? Boxwood? I think it was the Boxwood retreat. But she had shown this and I fell in love with this. And I think she's almost done with the stitching that she's going to do. But this is going to be a future one red thread. I just think this is beautiful. I love all of the little ones as well. I'll probably do the whole set. And of course, that's going to go in the French General Room. Okay, aside from those, I also picked up a few quilt patterns in the meantime. I ordered these and got them, I think, right after the last video I did. I received them. I think I ordered them before that. This is another pattern basket. You've seen several pattern basket patterns that I have purchased. I thought this one was really cute. It's called the Winter Village. I guess I should back these up a little bit. I'm holding them too close. So I picked this one up as a future possibility for a quilt. And this is one that she had shown on her Instagram, I think 2 years ago. And then it didn't get released, but it finally got released. And it's acorns. And I just love that. I don't know that I'll do it in those colors. I think I'm probably going to darken this one up quite a bit. And then one of our local quilt shops had this quilt made up, and I think they had it made up in a Primitive Gatherings, the last snowman line that came out like last summer. It's all blues. I don't know if I'll do it in all the blues, but this is really pretty. Looks very simple. The pattern is very simple, but when you see it in real life, the presentation is stunning. So I picked that pattern up as well. So those are all possibilities, future possibilities of things to work on. Okay, I'm going to set that aside and I'm going to do another quick pause and get something to drink, and then we're going to start in on the WIP parade. Okie dokie, so I've already unzipped all of these bags, so I'm going to try to keep the zipping and rustling to a minimum, but there's definitely going to be some rustling going on. This is my work basket. My work basket is a basket that I keep by my stitchy chair at all times, and it generally holds a dozen or so projects that I am or kind of anticipate working on. The work basket changes out with seasons. Right now, it still has a lot of the Christmas stitches that I'm working on with my Christmas every day, but I think I'm going to pick out like maybe 2 or 3, definitely the ones that I've already started working on. I'm going to stitch those down, meaning finish them, and then pull in a couple as I change out the season, because I'm really close to putting things away and pulling out spring. In fact, I think my next regular Flosstube, I'm going to be pulling out spring finishes that I've already had that I need to fully finish, and probably starting to work on other spring and summer stitches. So aside from what I've already showed you, and these are in no particular order, I'm just pulling them out of the bag, and some of these you've seen recently, but because this is a WIP parade, we're going to talk about them all. I hope that I can remember all of the information, but if I don't, then, and you really need to know that information, absolutely drop me a comment down below. Okay, this one is, and we're going to put the glasses on. We're just going to start out that way. This is O Tannenbaum, and this is a Brenda Gervais. And it really hasn't had any more done on it since I showed it last video. And I'm doing this on a 40 or 36 count bramble. It's on bramble, I know that. So whatever the called for count is what I'm doing it on. And that's a picture of this plus, and I was looking for the sticker. Oh, here, the sticker's on here. It's a 36 count. So 36 count bramble with the called for colors. I would like to get that one done for next year. I think I mentioned in my last video that my friend Linda had completed it, and it's just beautiful. The next one was one I started during Vlogmas, and it's from the Lady's Needle, and I don't have the actual chart. It's up there in the box, but I can maybe insert a picture here, but this is where I'm at, and it's 2 drums, or not drums, 2 spools. This is one of the spools, and it will wrap around a spool, and it's probably, I don't know, maybe 70% done. It came as a kit. Here's the flosses that go in it. The next one is another one that I started during Vlogmas, and this is Christmas in My Heart by Samplers Not Forgotten in 1843, and I'm doing this on a, looks like a 40 count cedar plank. This is not a vintage, this is just a regular cedar plank, and I love this one. There's one that I want to get finished before I start really focusing on another one, but I love this one so much. The colors are just popping on this linen, and I cannot wait to finish this one. It's so pretty. I have so many beautiful Christmas stitches that I'm working on that, you know, the Christmas every day. That's why I really want to do that, because I want to work on everything all the time. This one also started, I think, like the second day of Vlogmas, and it is the Mary Bell Sampler by Lori Rippey. Now, the Lori Rippey ones I'm showing you, you can order digitally and download those. So this is the 2021 Christmas chart that she did. This is a picture of this plus Wren, and I think this is the one I want to get finished first, even though I've kind of been working on some others. Get this finished and then focus on another piece. But I love it. It calls for all DMC. The colors are stunning. They're just beautiful, and I'm really loving this. The next one was another one that I had really wanted to start for a while. I had it kitted up for a couple years or a year, and it is a Plum Street called the Merry Heart. And this one I'm doing on a 36 count ale, which is the called for. This was another Vlogmas start. That's what I got done in one night. And here are the called for flosses that I'm doing it in. This one is really, the colors are so rich and saturated. I just love that. I really like the copper color that's mixed in with the dark reds and greens. Okay, the next one I'm also really super excited about. One I had wanted to start for a long time, and this is a Scarlet House, and it's called Sleigh Rides and Snowflakes. And I am doing mine on a 40 count bramble. Bramble is one of my absolute favorite linens. This is the start that I have. And this is the called for flosses. Here's one that I had hoped to finish, but I just didn't get as much done because I was working on other things. This is a Blackbird Designs, and it's Winter Wonderland, but I'm actually pretty darn close. I'm doing this on a 30 count weeks gray. Sorry, I did not iron everything. This one's kind of rumpled, but you can see I'm really close to a finish on this one. I got the house all filled in, and I just need to bring the border around and stitch all of the geese on the bottom. There we go. The bottom border is not anything exceptionally challenging. I'm kind of falling out of the wanting to still stitch everything Christmas and really starting to get spring fever, but I am going to continue to work on the Christmas ones as long as I can. Like I said, my goal was to put in at least one length of thread every day. Okay, this is a new start that I started to help the Lincoln Strong fundraiser that Teresa Kogut put out. This is a fundraiser for a friend of hers grandson who is going through cancer, and she's been able to donate a good helpful amount to their family, and it's a beautiful, beautiful sampler. I love it. I did get a very small start on it. Just some of the border. They look like, I don't know, what would you call those? I think they're clover. I'm not sure, but they're really pretty. They kind of look like raspberries on flowers. So I don't know what they are, but again, that is the Hope and Love sampler. And this one I think is really spring looking, so I may keep working on this as time permits. What else do I have in here? Oh, this is one that I talked about. I'm not sure if it was the last video or the video before, that I need to recalculate how I want to get this done. I had hoped to break it up into 9 months, and I already blew past that. You know, there were several months that I didn't stitch on it. But I really do want to get this stitched. Okay, Plum Street, Real Comfort. My friend Linda passed this on after she had finished it. She attended the retreat that this came in, and I kitted it up, and I started it on my birthday and stitched on it and then put it down and haven't stitched on it since. But it's beautiful. I'm doing this on a 36 count Seraphim Dusty Road. I think the color is beautiful. It calls for one of my other favorite linens, which is Saltbush. But the Saltbush is, Saltbush has a green undertone, and I just felt that was too much green, particularly the dye lots of Saltbush that I had. It was too green. So I really like this Dusty Road. I think it's going to be stunning. These are the called for flosses. You can see there's a lot of greens and golds, and I didn't want them to kind of melt together. I wanted them to shine on their own. So I think that was a good linen to choose. So the last one that's in my work basket is going to be my next one red thread. I talked about it on my last regular Flosstube, and that is Rose Quaker. Some people had written in the comments that they thought this was no longer available. That is actually inaccurate. This is absolutely still available. And I will put a link down below in the description box to where you can find and purchase this. I purchased mine back in 2020. It's a digital download. I don't think it was through Etsy. I think it was through this website. But it will also give you a chance to look at all of the other beautiful charts. But I only have this done. It's part of the center motif. And as soon as I'm done with Hortense, as soon as I'm done with Hortense, I will be picking this up as my one red thread, or in this case, one pink thread. Okay, I need to get these all put back together and put back in my work basket, and then we will get started on the next batch. Okay, this next batch, nothing is really going to have any real rhyme or reason. I do have them loosely sorted out into kind of things that are samplers and things that are seasonal. I think this one is the sampler one. I have two big, these are the size things that you put in the IKEA calyx. I have two of these that are full, and then I have things that are hanging up, and depending on how long this video goes, I may have to break this up into two, but I'm going to try to get through these two, and then if there's time, I will do what I have hanging up in my closet, and if there's not, then we'll have a part 2 of the WIP parade. So I really haven't looked at a lot of these for a while, probably since my last WIP parade, except for 1 or 2 things that I finished. I did take time to unzip everything, so we're just going to pull it out, like pulling out surprises out of the box, and we're going to see what's there. Oh, cool. This was a retreat kit from a Brenda Gervais retreat at Farm Girl, and it's the Little Red House Sampler. And I do believe this has been released. I don't remember, 2019 is when that retreat was. And I started that one. I don't think I started at retreat because I wanted to dye some fabric. So this is my own hand dye, and it's on a 36 count. And this is what I have. I have part of the border started. As I go through these, I know that there are some that I have that I might have started at retreat, and I don't even have an entire length of thread. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move them out of my WIP count, and I'm going to move them into my kit count, because, you know, if they don't even have an entire length of thread in them, I'm not sure that they really constitute a WIP. They're really just a large collection of floss and the linen and the chart, and, you know, just a few stitches. So this one I would still count as a WIP. I got more than one length of thread in there. So that one's going to stay in the WIP pile. This one is one I had started for my granddaughter. I really need to get it done because she is growing up way too fast. She turned 14 this month. And I think this will still be beautiful for a young lady. It's a Madame Chantilly, and I believe that the name of it translates to Night of Stars. And she really likes the cottage, she calls it cottage core. So I think this is still going to work well. She likes pink, and although it's not pink, I think it's still going to fit in. And I have the poppies started on here. And I remember that those stitched together very quickly. So let's just look at it this way. So I need to get that done. It's not a huge chart overall, so it really shouldn't take too long. Maybe I'll try to work on it and get it done for Christmas this year. I'm using the called for DMC, which are these colors right here. Very lovely. And I don't have what I'm stitching this on. It looks like a 36 count flax to me. Okay, what else is in here? Ooh, this is a good one. This was a kit that was given to me by my friend Michelle of Farm Girl. And she gave it to me at, I think, the very first retreat that I went to, which was her second retreat. And it's Cherry Hollow Farm Sampler. I think it has since been re-released so that it can be stitched by everyone. I know it was really sought after and popular for a while. I have the actual kit that came in the little bag, and I have maybe a third of the border done. So as I said, this was the call for, so it looks like it's on Weeks Beige, which is one of my favorite colors. And again, using all of the call for colors. I really should work on that one. That one might come out in the pile of things when I start changing over to spring and summer, because I think it would look darling in the cottage bed. This is a chart that is not in print and can be challenging to find. It was loaned to me by a good friend, and it is a Brenda Gervais with a needle and thread, and it's the Birds of a Feather. So here's one of the charts. I think this was number 3. And it came in 3 pieces, and I am doing it on a called for. Am I doing the called for? Let me look. Yes, I'm doing it on the called for gray, 36 count gray, and that's my start. And let's see, here are the called for colors. And I really would like to get this one done. Okay. Oh, I really wanted to work on this one this winter, and I just didn't get to it with Vlogmas and everything, but I love this chart. And it is the Kingsford sampler, and it is Carriage House. I just love it. I like the arts and crafts look of it. I'm doing this on a one-off that is from XJU Designs, and I don't know, did she have a name on it? Because I remember it was, she calls it Old Linen, but it's kind of a green, and it is so pretty. I'm using the called for DMC colors, and this one is definitely going to hang in my living room. It's not a very big sampler. You can see this is kind of a small piece of linen. I haven't worked on it in 2 or 3 years, maybe longer, but I love that that sampler. Okay, ooh, this is another good one. This is one of my favorite project bags, and the chart is Scattered Seas samplers. Let me pull it out of here. And it is called Catherine Dickinson. Yes, Dickinson, 1840. Sorry if I keep getting too close to the camera. I love this, and I love the fabric that I put it on. This is on a Lakeside Vintage Autumn Gold. The call for colors, and it is so pretty. I love that. So again, apologies for the extra time taking to put everything back in the bags. I just don't want to get things mixed up because I didn't specifically count, but I think on my spreadsheet I'm somewhere in the late 80s, early 90s for the amount of WIPs that I have. Okay, what's this one? This one, I don't have the chart right in front of me. All I have is my working copy, but it is a guide to the sampler. And if I have time, I will put a picture up here. If not, this is one that I'm doing with Olivia of Olivia B. She has more done. I think she has some of the flowers done. And I have started in the house. This is being done with the called for colors. And I think this is 36 count vintage country mocha. It's really pretty. And I have it again in another favorite project bag. It's like reaching into the prize box. Oh, another favorite. This is one that I really should get finished. I started this when I very first started cross stitching back in late 2017. I think like November 2017. It's La Di Da, and it is the 3 lilies. And this is when I was just barely being able to stitch on 28 count. I couldn't see it until I found magnification. I am stitching this on a hand die that I did. I think I called this Burnt Brown Butter, and this is where I'm at. This one is also going to go in my living room. I think it's going to be beautiful. It doesn't have a lot of colors. Has 310, 632, 646, and 3781. Those are the only colors, but it's just a beautiful, beautiful sampler. Again, has that arts and crafts style feel to it, which I really, really like. Okay, now we're getting into when I ran out of time to make project bags and just started, doing the Amazon thing. What's in here? This looks like, is there more than one in here? Oh, this is the Smith sampler. Now, this is one where I was trying to pull colors substitute colors from my stash, and I wasn't really liking them, so I stopped. And this is all I have done. And the Smith sampler looks like, here's the Smith sampler. And I think this is going to go back in the bag, and it's going to go into that pile that I call kitted up. And this one's only partially kitted up because I am going to go back and I'm going to go get the called for colors. So I quit fighting with the color combinations. I think I have like 80% of the colors, and I just need to buy a few bell swathes, but I have most of the others. And I am doing this on the called for vintage Metaroo. This is a really nice piece of vintage Metaroo. So one less in the WIP pile. This is one I started a couple years ago when I was also starting a lot of Christmas things. I had it in my pile to work on this year, but I didn't get to it. And it's the Ginny Beans Christmas Sampler by Shakespeare's Peddler. I love this. It says, if I had but one penny, I should have it to buy gingerbread. And I'm doing this on a, I think this is a 40 count. Yes, this is a 40 count beige, and this is the start I have. I am doing it with the called for DMCs. And again, sorry for all the wrinkles. There's just too many for me to have taken the time to flatten everything out. Also in this bag, I have a start, and I don't have the chart with me, so I think the chart's actually in another bag. I remember seeing it there. This is a Kathy Barrick or Carriage House, and it is Reindeer's Feed Sack. And this is the start I have. It's on the called for 28 count weeks linen. I think this is tin roof. Yes, 28 count tin roof, and it just has these two colors, and those are the called for DMC, and that's my start on that. So apologies if there's a little hum in the background, but this room, I usually keep it closed up so the cats don't get in here, and it's cold. It's still very cold here in Central Oregon, but it is warming up. So I think it got up to 46 degrees yesterday, and by the end of next week, it's going to be in the high 50s, low 60s, which I'm really excited. But again, it's going to drop back down after that. This is Jane Plenderleith, 1838. This was a kit that I got from, I think it was Country Sampler. It was a Country Sampler schoolgirl kit. I don't have a huge start on it. It came with the called for, oops, I don't want to lose that. I don't see it. It looks like a weak straw. And because this was a kit, so it has all of the called for flosses, and this is my small start on that. It's a very pretty sampler. Not something I'm going to be working on in any near future, but I'm glad that I got it started and I can pick it up and go. In fact, I feel that way about a lot of my samplers. I have a lot of samplers started. Years ago when Val Stitching in the Barn, she did a 2-part video series with a neighbor of hers that her house was full of samplers, and I went on a sampler shopping spree, and I started a bunch of them, but then have got sidetracked as we are wont to do. This one, oh, I love this one too. This is a antique reproduction sampler by Cross Stitch Antiques, and it's called Innocence. I think that is so pretty. And my friend Marcy, here it is. My friend Marcy, when she came to visit, had brought all of us a small piece of Picture This Plus, and I believe this one, do I have it on here? Oh, good. Yes, it's called Dapple. So this is a Picture This Plus Dapple, and this is the small start I have. And these are, it has a lot of colors. Here are the colors of that. So just a very small start. Okay, this one, this is a piece of linen that I coveted. every time I went over to Lisa's house, I would look at this linen and study it because I really wanted to try to figure out how to dye a piece of this linen, dye something that looked close to it. And I did come pretty close. But this is a linen. It's a 32 count Birds of a Feather, and it's called Too Many Treats. But I just thought this was so gorgeous. Now, it's a really beautiful kind of auburny brown over a green base. But what I'm stitching on that is it's a Rosewood Manor, and it's called Buckleberry Welcome. And it's not something you would think that you would stitch on this, but the colors are really kind of pop on there. And I think it's going to be totally beautiful. This was one of the very first things I started stitching. It's going to be totally beautiful to go near the entrance coming into the living room here. So the welcome is really shining through. It's showing up. And then here's the other color. Okay, what is next? Ooh, this is going to be one that's probably going to go back into my kitted up pile. Let's see how much I have done on it. It's The Winter is Past. I don't remember if I got this as a kit through a club or if I kitted it up myself. But here's my working copy. The Winter is Past, Blackbird Designs. I think I might have gotten this as a kit. And, well, I might have to keep it in the WIP pile because I definitely have more than one thread, but not very much more than one thread. So this looks like it's on Oaken. Yes, 36 count Oaken. So I'm almost positive that I got this as a kit, or I had it kitted up, probably from Dyeing to Stitch. And here's the colors. It's beautiful. It's so pretty. I think I'll keep it out in the samplers that are just my sampler WIPs instead of the kitted up pile. I've got enough start on it. The next one here is a La-Di-Da, and this was my first foray into 46 count. I don't have a picture. I'm going to try to put a picture up here if I can find one. This is called Peaceful Ways. I have a needle in it, which is not good, but I did this on a 46 count linen. This is a Lakeside, and this is Vintage Meadow Rue 46 count when they first started coming out with that, where it was more available. And it's a gorgeous, gorgeous tiny little sampler. And I'm doing that with a combination of silks and colors that I pull from my stash, and excuse how messy they are, but here are the colors that will be on this sampler. And what's the next one? The next one is a retreat piece from La-Di-Da, and the chart is called One Stitch at a Time, and it's beautiful. And I think Lisa Kindred Stitcher had worked on this, and she had switched out the colors for the carnations at the bottom. I am probably going to do the same, but here I did start on this at the retreat, and this is what I had gotten done. And these are the flosses that belong to that chart, and it's very beautiful stitch. Okay, here's the last handful out of that box. This one is so pretty. It may get bumped up in the sampler rotation. There's a couple samplers that I really do want to put some work on in this year. But this one is called A Lady Gelée 1892, and it's a GGR. And this picture does not even come close to doing the colors justice. I think that this is one that I had saw that Reese had completed when she first started doing Flosstube, and I fell in love with it so much that I bought it twice. But this is the start that I have on it, and I'm doing this on a 40 count. Yes, 40 count purled barley. I don't think this is a vintage. I think this is just regular purled barley. Such a pretty color. And colors you wouldn't expect. There's that purple that's in there, but look at that rose. Isn't that stunning? So this is my small start. but it's definitely going to stay a WIP, and it's definitely something that I want to finish someday. The next one, oh, I did this during pandemic. It was my Zoom stitch. I don't know why I picked it as a Zoom stitch, because I think I picked it because it was one color. So a friend of mine had sent me a spool of the Soie d'Alger. Is that what? No, this is Soie Surfine, which it's the 100 weight. So very, very fine. It's like an eyelash. That's not even as thick as an eyelash. Let's see if I can show you. It's super, super fine. And I use 2 strands when I do this. And I am doing Anna Oman. Do I have the cover in here? I don't have the cover in here, so it's another one that I will have to find a picture for. But here's my start. And this is being done, I believe this is a 46 count. Yes, this is a 46 count vintage pecan butter. And it's beautiful. This may end up in a 1 red rotation, but not this year. It's very, very pretty. So I'm about maybe 20 to 25% done on this one. But I think the 1 red thread would be a great way to get this one moving along. This was from, Lisa and I did the grand tour where we went to, I think it was four or 5 retreats. Boom, 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 all in a row within like 3 weeks. 10 days of that was 3 retreats, and then there was another retreat that was a couple weeks outside of that time frame. This was one of the retreat pieces, so everything's kind of in an odd shape, so I'm going to fold this up. And it's a small called Home from the Sea. This was the small from the retreat. And it was kitted up with, I'm going to look here, 36 count vintage honey. And this is my start on it. Very pretty. Actually, I think it goes that way. Sorry about that. And here's part of the retreat paraphernalia that it came with. I think these were made by Mama Joan, these bags, but it came with these beautiful silk ribbons. And here was the flosses that were kitted up to come with it. So very pretty. It's a small, could be something that I pull out and just finish so I can get it off my WIP list. These may go back into my kitted up because I think the starts on them are extremely tiny. So there are 2. So one of them is Merrily, Merrily We Welcome Spring, and it's also a Blackbird design. And that one, that's not that one. Do I even have a start in? Yes, I do have a start in this one. So, maybe, maybe not. So it's more than 1 thread. That's my start for Merrily, Merrily We Welcome Spring. It's on a ginormous piece of oaken, but I also think it's a very big sampler. So this is probably the sampler size I needed. So this is on, I'm pretty sure it's a 36 count oaken. So there's that start. The other one is Oh Joyous Day. Again, these are my working copies. Not a small sampler, not as big as Merrily, Merrily We Welcome Spring, but not too far from it. I also have a start on that. This start is much smaller. It's just the beginning of the border. And then because the colors were so similar, I have 1 floss ring for both. That's why they're also in the same project bag, because they shared a lot of the same floss. So I was thinking that those would go back into the kitted up, but there's enough on them that they really don't. They need to stay in the WIP pile. And maybe next year will be my Blackbird year. I know Carol Saltback Stitcher is doing a Blackbird year where she's really trying to work on a lot of her Blackbird WIPs. Okay, this next big box that I have is kind of loosely more what I would call seasonals. It's just as full as the other box. I'd say it was close to equal amount, maybe a little more, but let's go ahead and start going through these. This is also one of my oldest WIPs. I just need to knock it out and get it done. I intend to make this into a very large pincushion that I'm going to use as a pincushion. It's on a piece of 28 count hand-dyed Monaco. Again, literally this is like the third or fourth chart that I ever started. It's by the Nebby Needle, and it's called Beautiful. And this is my working copy, and here is the chart. Very cute. Because I did it on 20 count, it's quite large, and I just need to do the wings. Maybe I just need to take this out and get it done so then I can make it into my pincushion. I considered maybe putting it on, you know, doing a giveaway with it, but I really love this chart. I think that is so pretty. So I just need to get it done. I should just pull it out and knock it out. I probably would have, I don't know, maybe 2 evenings of stitching if I didn't make mistakes on the wings. They don't look that challenging. I remember when I first started stitching it, it looked very challenging to me. It's like, I'm going to get lost in all of that stitching, but I've really developed a method to do a lot of fill-in that has different markings. So hopefully I can knock through that. This one, every time I pull it out, I talk about how I really don't know if this is the right linen, but now I'm thinking that it's not the linen color that's really hanging me up. It's the color of the bunny. And let me show you. I have a lot of bunny stitches. I love stitching bunnies during the spring. And this is a la-di-da. I love this chart. It's B is for bunny. It's a beautiful, beautiful chart. The bunny here is done in a gold color, like a golden olive color. And here are the flosses. Which color is it? I think it's, or maybe it's caramel corn that the bunny is done in. And I love the linen. It's a color in cotton. It's called Dried Sage. I think the linen is really, really pretty. Again, I'm sorry, this is super wrinkly, but I just think maybe, because I don't like that gold color with the linen, so I think I just need to change the bunny color, but I don't know what color. Here, let me try to make that a little bit easier. See how that works together? Or maybe I should just keep going. I don't know. Everybody keeps telling me, no, that this looks good together, but it's not speaking to me. And when it's not speaking to me, I'm not going to stitch on it. And I really want to get this done. So if you have an idea of a better bunny color, I'm not sure brown, like a brown bunny would be that great. I just don't know. Or if you think I really should just keep going with that gold and that it's going to turn out okay. Let me know that. Let me know in the comments what you think. And maybe I can get the oomph to go back and really finish this, this stitch. The next one, do I have more than one in here? I do, because these are smaller ones. So let's get them all out here. More bunny stitches. And here's another la-di-da that I just love. I've seen it every time I go to Country Sampler. It's up on the wall and I look at it. I think it's so pretty. And it's the 2 rabbit sampler. And the colors on it are so pretty. The browns and the blues and the golds. I just love those together. So I'm doing this on, sorry, I've got several things here. I'm doing this on a 40 count straw, and I've got a hanging thread where I probably stopped, switching gears for spring to summer. Again, very wrinkly, but I've got one bunny started and part of the flower urn, and here are the colors. I think they're the called for DMC. So there's one that was in there. And the next one, I think I kind of got stalled. I really loved it, but I wasn't sure about my color choices. I have other bunny stitches that I use the very same floss for and the very same cloth. This is Fiddler's Ada, 18 count, light oatmeal, and I over dyed it. I think I tea coffee dyed it, probably tea dyed it. And I have another bunny stitch that has the same colors, and I'm looking. This was it a free chart? No, this is a chart. Again, I don't have my chart cover. So it's a bunny. It's the alphabet bunny. I thought it was a free one, but it's not. It came out in 2013, and it's basically a bunch of alphabet letters and a tall standing bunny here. Again, if I can find the picture, I will insert it here. And I'm doing this, I picked out different colors than it called for, and I'm doing it with this blue and this brown. So I believe this is a Mountain Mist blue and that brown. And I do like those colors together. So I wasn't sure about it, but now that I'm looking at it, I think that they look great. The next one is, what's in here? Oh, this is definitely one I'm going to be working on. This is a Brenda Gervais, and it's Every Opening Flower, and I know I've got my cover in here somewhere. There it is. Every Opening Flower, Brenda Gervais. I think this is Wren. I am not sure because I don't have it. Yes, I do. No, it's vellum. Oh, that's a hard one to find now because I really like vellum. I'm doing this on a 36 count Picture This Plus vellum, and I'm using the called for colors, and I love this one, and I really want it to go up in the cottage bedroom. So it's one that's going to be coming out really, really soon and getting put in my work basket because it's one I want to work on. If not finished, at least make significant progress on this year. What do we have here? One of my older WIPs, because this is on a count of linen that I'm doing over 2. It's a 32 count flax, and it is Plum Street. And this is Autumn Factor. I really haven't put a whole lot of stitches in this for a couple of years, but it is such a beautiful piece. I think I worked on it fall before last. Isn't that gorgeous? The colors are amazing, and it's going to look amazing in my living room. That is so pretty. Okie dokie. So the next one is a chart that a good friend loaned to me, and it is a Birds of a Feather chart, and I think, is it Colorado Cross Stitcher is reproducing these. I think she has the rights to do that. I don't know if this is one of them, but this is the alphabet sampler, and I started that I think like on Halloween or something. It only has a few colors. Here's the colors, and I have a very tiny start, and I believe this is on a let's see, do I have it here? I believe this is on a weeks. It's not beige. It's, I don't have it listed here. I'm so sorry. If I think of it, I will put it down below, but it's on a 36 count, and that's my very teeny little start. And I love this stitch, and I have it in my very favorite of all time project bag that I made, that I have a floss bag that goes with it. Okay, I wish I could remember the name of it. It's one of my favorite weeks. Every time I pull out a piece of weeks and I use it, I immediately go on and put a replacement of whatever that color is in my order list, because I don't ever want to be without. I love beige, tin roof, gray, and the one that I can't remember. Those are like basic colors for me that I want to have on hand at all time. Okay, so here in the I'll Just Fill in the Floor, here is a start that I did Thanksgiving Before Last, and it is Not Forgotten Farm and Reverend Gordon Squash Bottom. And I think when I made my working copy, I think I blew that up. I don't think that's the actual size it is. I have a very small start on it, and this is on beige. Again, like I said, one of my favorite standard colors. And I also had these great floss tags from my friend Tina Egner, Team Egner. Yes. And so here is the start. That's probably what I'm going to work on when we get back into the fall season, when I want to start stitching fall. What do we have in here? Ooh, this is one of my favorites. I have pulled it out to work on during Christmas, but then I got excited about starting things, and it's a Stacy Nash, the 12 Days of Christmas Sewing Roll. Again, the picture on there does not do it justice. My progress. And these are the colors, just like 4 or 5 colors. And it's beautiful. This is when I started the Christmas Before Last during my 2023 Vlogmas. And it is Joyous Noel. And that is Artful Offerings. I'm using the Called For colors. And I believe I'm also using the Call for Linen, which is platinum, a 28 count platinum. So it will make a really good sized pillow. When you look at it, you don't think that the colors are that blue of a green, because once you stitch them on there, they kind of change colors. And then also in this same bag, I have And Rudolph by Lottie Da. That was also a start, the same of Vlogmas 2023, and I have a very tiny start on a scrap piece of linen. And oh, the color I couldn't think of is Aspen. So it's Weeks Dye Works Aspen. It has a slight green color to it. It's beautiful. These are the only 2 colors that are with that chart. And this is that. That's a really cute one. This one is a WIP that I've had for a couple of years. And I'm doing this on, it's Merry Christmas Pinky, so it's Stacy Nash. And I don't have the picture of the chart, so I will find it and I'll put a picture up here. I am doing this on a piece of linen that I dyed. And I think this is a 28 count, or is this Osnaburg? I can't remember. No, it's a 32 count. It's a 32 count mystery linen that I coffee tea dyed. I wanted something that was a little bit bigger. So this is the Merry Christmas Pin Keep, and I hope to make it pretty big and make a really big pillow out of it. And I'm using 221. DMC 221 on that one. The last one in this collection right here is Hibernation Day, and it's Heartstring Samplery. And this one also goes back to the very beginning of my cross stitch journey, and so I think I started this in 2018. Yes, I did, because I was stitching on it. I had had some major abdominal surgery for diverticulitis, and I started stitching on this in the hospital, and I really haven't stitched on it much since, but it's so pretty. And this is on a 28 count. This is part of a collection of stitches that I want to have grouped together, but the one that I'm showing you is Blessings Be Thine. And here's my start on that right here. And this is a floss ring that actually has floss for the other stitches. The other stitch that I will be doing is Merry Christmas. There's my black and white. This is all my working copy. The other stitch I'll be doing is Merry Christmas. So I think I have the floss for both of those. And I'll be doing Merry Christmas on a vintage smoked white. And then this one is being stitched on a vintage navy bean, which is not an easy one to find. But these go back to the day when I was stitching on 28 count, which is what both of these are. But that's fine because that's the called for count in these stitches. So that's something, you know what, I think I'm going to pull that one out and set it aside so that it goes in my Christmas every day, because I really do want to get those done, and they're not big. Okay, speaking of one thread, let's jump back into a beautiful teeny tiny stitch. This is a Brenda Gervais, and it is Candy Cane Lane. And this is being stitched on a 40, is this a 40 or 46? This might be a 46 count. I don't remember. I don't have this one tagged. Something tells me this might be a 46 count because it's very, very teeny tiny. And that's my start. And I do like stitching on 46 count. A lot, actually. It's just as easy for me as stitching on a 36 or a 40 count. I don't have a problem seeing it or anything like that. And there's definitely times when you want to have something smaller for whatever space you're going to put it in or whatever you're going to make out of it. Okay, what do we got here? Oh, I love this one. So I was introduced to this designer from a stitch that Lisa Kendra Stitcher's sister Carrie has stitched. This was not what she had stitched, but she had stitched something else with this this designer, and her name is Sarah Germani, Sarah Germani. And I'm going to hold this up close. This one is Christmas Village. Now I have two of hers. I have Christmas Village, and I have, is the other one in here? If it is, I'll show it to you. It is not. It's a companion piece. They're the same size. They use the same threads. And oh wait, no, I'm sorry. This is the one that I'm not stitching. This is the companion piece. And the one I'm stitching is Waiting for Christmas. Isn't that so cute? They are amazing, but I'm telling you, they are stitch intense. So I just have a small start on it. I'm doing them on 36 count vintage country mocha, and this is the start. I think I started in the middle. I think this is the house in the middle of the village. And here are the called for threads, call for floss. You can see it's a pretty sizable ring, but it's so cute. So cute. Even on 36 count, this is going to be like 20 by 21 inches. It's big. It's a big girl, but they're adorable. They are just adorable. Okay, so I've decided I'm going to try to fit this all into one video. It's definitely going to be a long video, but I have other things that I want to focus on for upcoming videos, particularly a couple of demos that are long overdue, and just, you know, to kind of move forward in other stitching. And I have some quilting things and whatever. I'm not going to go into plans this video because it's pretty full with the WIPs, but the process of going through those is really helping me kind of think about what I'm going to be working on. So having said all of that before, we're going to go through what I have hanging in my closet. Now, these are ones that I have, for whatever reason, decided that I was going to keep hanging up, either because I'm working on them all the time, because they're a sampler that I don't want to get wrinkled, or whatever. I kind of try to save my closet space, and it's pretty packed right now because half of my closet has a calyx in it, and then half the closet has all of my linen, my unused linen, hanging up, and it's sorted out by, you know, maker, dyer, and count, etc. So that is packed into one half, and then I have these hanging samplers, and I kind of rotate them, you know, out of the bag and hanging up, again, depending on what I'm working on. If you've seen any of my videos where I show my stitchy spot, you'll see I usually have a pretty long, several samplers hanging together because I keep them on hooks that kind of nest and hang. And so that's what we're going to look at. So the first one is a Brenda Gervais. It's Winter Rose Manor. and here it's on the hanger, and this is where I'm at. And I'm doing this on I believe it's a 40 count. I know I hand dyed it. I started out with the color platinum, and I hand dyed a big piece that I am stitching this, and I'm not going to be able to do this without taking some things off the hangers. So I have it in this project bag. This is one I made one for myself and one for Lisa Kindred Stitcher as a commemoration to our first trip to, there's the inside, first trip to Country Sampler. So I'm using the Call for Colors. This is where I'm at. I don't have that much left to do. I think this is going to go in the rotation of Christmas every day so I can stitch on it and get it done. Now, I know there's a lot of fill-in to do in the house. I can actually knock out fill-in pretty quickly. In fact, I think getting in the habit and the method that I use to do fill-in, it has really, really improved my stitching speed for everything else. So I usually leave those to take with me to stitch group, and I can go through that. I could probably knock out that house in maybe 4 sessions, so we'll see. This is Noel by With Thy Needle and Thread. I'm just going to sort of show you the chart there because I really don't want to take everything out. I'm using all the Call for Colors, which are all DMC, and they're beautiful. And this is a beautiful piece of linen. It's Lakeside. It is Lakeside Vintage Pecan, if I remember correctly. And I think it's beautiful on here. But I have since seen 2 or 3 people stitch this on like a cedar plank or a tundra, and I fell in love with it. So I'm still debating, but I'm really leaning towards unstitching all of this because, of course, I'm not going to get rid of this piece of linen, even a piece that big, but restarting this on a piece of the vintage, a different color, a different Lakeside, maybe even Saltbush would be beautiful. I know that there's a lot of the house there, and that's a lot to unstitch, but I haven't stitched any more in it because I think I really want to restart it on that other color. Okay, this is a Teresa Kogut. Oh, this is going to be more challenging than I thought. This is a Teresa Kogut. May Your Winter Be Bright. I have it, this is on a piece of dapple. Picture this plus dapple, 36 count. And this one I am going to have to take out of the bag because I have several other things packaged with this one to start. So here are the Call for Colors, and it's not just this stitch, it's for all of the other stitches I have here. So let me show you. So that's this one right here, and then this is kitted up with several other charts, and I'm just going to flash them real quick. So Dear Santa, Merry Santa, Joyful Day, Cardinal's Friend, Winter Wonderland, and Christmas Kitty. Okay, so the next one is a familiar one, and this is my start on Christmas Garden. And that's a Blackbird design. So Christmas Garden, that's my working copy. And the colors that I use for my Christmas garden are different than the call for. I'm using Heirloom Gold, Forest Glade, Briar Rose, and a color of Victoria Model Log Cabin. So here are my colors. And I believe I am stitching this on a dark exemplar, Lakeside Linen. And this is a 40 count, I believe. I may end up editing a lot of the zipping and unzipping on this part. So if it gets a little choppy, that's why it's getting choppy. Okay, this next one is a stitch that I started with my friend Annie B's Folk Art. and we started together. I don't know if she's any further than me, but we started it. This is a Teresa Kogut pattern, and it is Come to the Garden. And there's the pattern, the chart. I'm doing it with the called for DMC, and I'm doing this on it's either a 36 or 40 count. It's a 40 count salt bush. And I don't have very much done. But that's a beautiful start. It's one I want to get back to. I know everybody says that as they go through their WIP parades, but it's true. You know, we want to stitch on everything all the time, and we just want it all, I guess. Okay, the next one is Sarah Casey Unwin of 1846 sampler, and it is by Chessie and me. Bring that in there a little bit. I am stitching this on a Color and Cotton Havana, which looks nothing like, what is it, Weeks Havana. I love this color. It is so pretty. Let me, actually, I think I'm going to put something behind this. The light shining through. But I love this sampler. It is so pretty. It's a big girl. It is, does it say here? 291 by 243, but it is just gorgeous, and I'm stitching it on with the call for colors on this, and it's so pretty. You know, I like to stitch a lot of smalls, and when you do, there's just not a lot of sampler time, but I just love this one. And I do have the entire border stitched all the way around, so I got what I consider the hard part done, and you know, it's just ready to sit down and put some time in. The next sampler I'm going to show is D Freetag 1849. I was at the attic for summer school, and this was part of the featured displays designer, and actually Wendy was at my table. I didn't know she was the designer. It was very funny because I was going on and on at our table about the sampler that I saw, and that I'd already went through line, and I had to get back in line and, you know, wait to buy the sampler and all of the silks, and and I didn't know who she was at the time. Anyway, so I love the sampler. It is so pretty. The stitched sampler at the table was gorgeous. This is on Cocoa, Weeks Cocoa, and I think this is a 40 count Weeks Cocoa. And that's my start on it, and I'm using the Gloriana silks, the called for silks. This was the first sampler that I kitted up completely in silks. So it's beautiful. I can't wait till I can get back and work on this one. The next one is the Red Deer sampler, and I have a very small start on this one, but again, it's one of my favorites. I have it kitted up with the called for floss, and I am stitching this on a Lakeside 40 count vintage cedar plank, and I love this. I know it's a very tiny start, and even though I say I love it, I do. I really, it's again, along with the last two that I just showed you, it's one of those samplers that I really do want to sit down and make some time to work on. I need to figure it out. I need to figure out how I can really work on a big sampler and still get all of the other little stuff that I want done. But maybe just pick one that I'm going to totally focus on and get done, because I really want to get these done. It will be hard to pick though, because there's probably, I'd say, at least a dozen of the ones like the three that I just showed you that I really want to get done. And the next one I'm going to show you is one of those. I started this as a birthday start, and I stopped working on it because my 46 count linen actually turned out to be 50 count linen, and I was really having a hard time seeing it. So this one is Louisa Barney, and it's 1892. Louisa Barney 1892. And I had special ordered at a time where it was really hard to find a piece of, this is a 46 count. It's a Lakeside. I think this one is also a cedar plank, although it's a little bit lighter. This is my start on it. And I am using the called for silks. In fact, I ordered the silk pack from Reflay de Spa. And this is how they came. This is the silk pack. So that's the other problem, is that the linen is so tight that the silks are a little too plump for it. So I may do a restart on this one because I have other, I think I have another piece that is actually 46 count. And I may just save this linen for something else because, like I said, it's closer, it's not 56 count, it's like 50 count because I counted it out. And use this linen for something else and just do a restart for that. In fact, I'm almost positive that's what I'm going to do. The next one is Jane Cowie, 1850 by the Scarlet House. I love this sampler. It is so, so pretty. And I did get a start on it, and I started putting in the berries, and I was not loving how orange colored hued that they are, the strawberries. I love the linen. I love all of the other flosses. So what I did is I took what I had, and I'm doing this on a vintage Metaroo, by the way. It's a 46 count vintage Metaroo. And I took the flosses that I had started with, and I went looking for different reds. Instead of the orangey red, I went looking for a blue red, and I believe I'm going to switch those out. I need to stitch a berry and see how they look. This is my little floss thing. So I started on it and I kind of got stymied. But I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch out those berry colors and make it a little bit more of the blue red and less of the orange, orangey red and peach red on that one. Okay, the next one is another one that I love for its arts and crafts look. I don't have a color copy, but the chart is Ida Nolt Revisited. It is beautiful. I love that style. I'm doing this on a 30 count cappuccino. I think it's a Weeks cappuccino. And I have the border done, and I've started on the flower. Here are the called for colors. I love that pop of like a dark sapphire blue that's in there with all of the golds and the yellows and the rusts and everything. This is very pretty. Again, it's on a higher count, the 32 count, so I'm using 2 threads, and I think that's the only reason that I don't work on this or think about working on this as often as I should, just to get it done, because I think it's going to be stunning when I get it done, and it's going to look so pretty on the wall. The next one is another birthday start. I started this the year I turned 60, and this is Isabella Johnston by Needlework Press. And Katie was so tattered, started it with me. I'm not sure where she's at. She was ahead of me at one point, and then I got ahead of her, I think. Maybe not. I'm not sure. I even have a needle in this. I kitted this up in the Call for Silks. And this is where I'm at. And this is going to go in the, well, it might go in my bedroom, but my bedroom or the French general room. But I love things with cows on them. I think the cows are so cool. This one I just need to buckle down and finish. I'm very close, and it's Mary Amelia's Bird. I'm doing this on a piece of 36 count linen that I hand dyed. And It's so pretty. It's so pretty. And I've got most of the confetti stitching done. Well, I have the bird confetti stitching done. There is, you know, there's, sorry about the glare, but there's definitely going to be some more confetti stitching with those roses. But it is such a pretty stitch. And this is going to go into my room. And here are the call for colors. And I have a whole slew of bird stitches that are meant to go in my bedroom. In fact, in the same bag, I'm not going to pull everything out, but I also have Mary Barton's for Mojo Stitches, also kitted up to be the next bird that I start. I'm not sure what color of linen, not the same linen that I'm going to stitch it on, but I really love the birds, and I think the birds will look great in my room. The next one is a summer stitch that I hope to bring out again this year, and it's Summer at Cherry Hill, which is a Brenda Gervais with a needle and thread. And I'm doing this, I believe, on a 40 count. Again, I don't have it. Oh, wait, I might have it here. Yes, a 40 count vintage buttercream by Lakeside Linen. And here is my progress on this one. So I have the dress done, which of course is a big part of it, but then next come the pomegranates and the tree. But I think that this is a stunning stitch. I plan on putting it in the cottage bedroom. The next one, I love this stitch. I really, really want to work on this. Is Blair Gowrie. I think that's how you say it. And it's with my needle. And I love, love, love this stitch. I love those colors. I have this kitted up in NPI Silks. I think what slowed me down on this one, let me see, yeah, I have that right, is all of those little curly cues. And there's a lot of them, of course, because it's Scottish, right? So you're going to see the lettering has a lot of curly cues. At the time that I started this one, you can't really see all of the flosses, but they're gorgeous. At the time I started this one, again, I was fairly new stitcher, and it just seemed overwhelming to me at the time, but I've got a lot more stitching under my belt now, so I don't think it will be as overwhelming. I think a good goal on this one is just to get the border all the way around done, and after that it will be a little bit more doable. So it's up there with the others that I talked about, where I have some of these really big samplers that I really would like to get done. So this one is one I really hope to pull out this coming Christmas. I don't know if it will make it into my rotation of Christmas every day. It may, because I really, really love the sampler, and that is Christmas at Hollyberry Farm. There's the picture. I am doing this on a piece of, is this pearled barley? I believe this is a piece of pearled barley. And it's my last piece of pearled barley, and it's going to be a very small margin all the way around, but I know that it's going to fit. But I really, at the time that I was wanting to start it, I could not find another piece of linen that really spoke to me as much as this one did. It's a 36 count, yes, pearled barley, vintage pearl barley. Here are the colors. And I'm just going to make do with the small margins. I'm probably going to sew some fabric onto the edges so that I can get that done. But I really, really love this stitch. You have to get in the rhythm of this border. It's a little fiddly. I think by the time that I got over here, I had figured it out, but I'll have to reacquaint myself with that once I sit down and start stitching on it again. Okay, the next one is another favorite. This is called the Little Busy Bee, and it is a needlework press. It's my working copy. And I am doing this on a piece of, I think this is Fabrics by Stephanie. It's a hand dye. Do I have it in here? The tag, let's see. Yes, it's a 40 count. It's called Dried Thistle. I don't have a huge start on it, but I love what I have. It's a very mottled and variegated fabric. I had to figure out where I was going to put that because there is a light spot in the middle, but this one should go just about to there, so I think it's going to be perfect. I love this fabric, even though I knew it could cause some issues with the lighter spot. It didn't matter. This fabric is so pretty. So I think a goal on this one, am I holding up? Yeah, I'm holding up the right side. I think a goal on this one is actually just to get the border done. And I'm using the called for overdyed floss, which is right here. And it is so, so pretty. So I would call this a summer sampler. I have several summer samplers where I just think it would be great to have them out during that time. But like everyone, someday I will have a sampler wall. The next one is a scattered seed samplers, and it's called Marywood 1887. And I'm doing this on a 45 count vintage sand dune. This is an older piece of lakeside linen, and I know that because I bought it quite a while ago. I bought a lot of these at Stitchville, and my first visit to Stitchville would have been in 2018. 2017, late 2017, 2018. It calls for 3 colors. I only have 2 here. I have the red and the green, but it calls also for a mocha and molasses and picnic basket. But I am using a substitute. I'm using burning bush instead of Lancaster red. And I love the colors on that. I think it's so pretty. This one, like the other one, I started them at the same time. I think just getting the border in would be a great start. It's a much smaller sampler. It's only, let's see, well, finished it will be 13.5 by 13.5. So not terribly big, not like the last one or some of the other ones that I've showed you. And also not like the one that I'm going to show you here in just a moment. Okay, so the next one will be recognizable. It is Andale 1827 Big and Beautiful. And it is big and beautiful. My friend Lisa Kendra Stitcher has finished this one, and it is gorgeous. She stitched hers on kind of a minty color green. I'm stitching mine on the called for vintage pear, Lakeside Vintage Pear. I have a very small start, but I love how the colors, how the red, etc. Really show up on this vintage pear. I think I have, this has to be a half yard. Might be a whole yard. No, it's a half a yard. It's a big piece, and I think it's going to take up a good portion of it. And I also believe that this is a 40 count. Yes, 27 by 36. So yeah, that is half a yard. It'll be a while before I get back to this one. I think I want to get some of those other big samplers under my belt, and then I will come back to this one. But it is so pretty, and it's started. That's the big thing. It started. Okay, we're on the home stretch. I think I have like 6 more, maybe 7. The next one is Plum Street, Jack's Bash. For a while, I was doing really good at stitching on this, like on the 13th and 31st, and then it kind of fell by the wayside for other projects. But here it is. And I think I'm doing this on a Weeks Gray, if I recall correctly, using the called for overdyed flosses. So I've got a good chunk of it done. I'm not unhappy about it. It's cool. I do hope to get some more work on it this year. Definitely want to work on more of it this year. The next one I've showed several times. This is one I'm doing for my son, not specifically for him. It's about him, but it's going to hang here. He can have it when I'm gone. But this is Stacey Nash Primitives Butternut House Pin Keep. I've talked several times about how I'm going to change it to be a sort of a heritage sampler. So it will have his initials. Actually, his initials and all of his forefathers are the same initials. So I'm going to personalize this for his paternal family history. Here's where I'm at. Also, his birthday is in October, just like mine, so the colors are appropriate. And then I have another pink heat sampler by Stacy Nash that is the same size that I did for my maternal side. So it has my girls and myself and my mom in the sampler. The next one is one I really had hoped to get done during the fall this year, but I had a lot of other things going on, so it didn't quite get done, but I did do a fair amount on it. And this is Turkey Hollow Farm by Stacy Nash. And I am doing it on 36 count beige, I believe, and I am using the call for colors. Call for overdyed floss. I really love this one. This one will definitely be a priority to get finished this fall before Thanksgiving. The next one I'm going to show you is Away We Ride. This is my working copy, Blackbird Designs. And I'm doing this on the called for, I think it's either a 28 or a 32 count weeks gray. 30 count. It's 30 count weeks gray. And here is where I'm at. Now mine is going to look different than a lot of yours, and I talked about this before. I don't know if my copy of the chart, which was an older one, one of the originals, had a misprint. I'm not sure, but the symbol on the berries that go around, everybody else's is the two different shades of gray. Mine has the mulberry, and I actually like how that looks. So mine's going to look a little bit different. And yeah, I'd really like to get this one done. It'll probably go here in the prim room, and then maybe come out, you know, during the holiday to be hung in the living room. But I love this one, and I really do need to get it done. Just sit down, knock it out. So some of these samplers that seemed so big when I first started cross stitching don't seem so daunting now, particularly when you start working on the much bigger ones. So the very last one, here it is Plum Street Friends of the Heart. This one is so pretty too. I love this one, Friends of the Heart. And I am doing this on, what am I doing this on? I don't recall, and I don't have it here on the tag. It is on a 36 count, 36 count Ren. So here is my progress. Here is, oops, don't drop them there, Lori. Here is the called for overdyed floss. This one, like many of Paulette's, a lot more stitching than you think. So here's the overdyed floss. I love this. I love this stitch. So probably this one, and maybe the Fractor, which is also a Paulette Stewart, and the Turkey Hollow Farm are going to be ones that I really focus on this coming fall, with maybe a little Reverend Squash Bottom, Gordon Squash Bottom thrown in there. So thank you so much for hanging in there with me. This was, I know it's going to be a really long video. I'm not quite sure how long. I have a lot of editing to do. But thanks for sitting down and going through all of my WIPs with me. It was a great exercise for me, so I can start making some plans. I may talk about those plans in the next video. As I mentioned earlier, I'm hoping to get out 2, maybe not in a row. I think I'm going to kind of balance them between my regular videos and like every other one, but the 2 demos that were requested during Vlogmas. So the next one will be the knitting bag. So probably in the next couple weeks, I will do the knitting bag tutorial, and then after that, maybe next month, late next month, I'll do the large star quilt tutorial. So I may attach them to a regular video, or they might stand on their own. But thanks again for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. Please leave me some comments down below. I love interacting with you, and so that you are aware when those tutorials do drop, please subscribe and ring the bell, and I will see you next time. Till then, bye-bye.